Hello, folks. Instead of a news report today, we decided to try something new. So today, we will be showing you a documentary on the famous Mano mass shooting back in 2013. Please enjoy, and we hope you like this documentary.
I will never forget that fatal day. No one knew that Mano County would change forever after that day. It was December 10th, 2013. We were just kids back then, just living a normal life. A lot of the kids would normally go deer hunting every deer season. I remember that day. It just happened. It was just a normal Friday. I remember waking up and getting ready for the day. I called my friend if he wanted to join me, and he said he would. We got into the car and we left to go get some coffee. We arrived at the coffee shop, and I got out to go inside of the store as my friend waited in the car. I walked up to the counter and I ordered and paid and sat down to drink my coffee. I was so excited as I started to think about deer hunting, and I wondered how big of a buck I could kill. That was honestly the best coffee I had in my entire life. I opened the door to my car and got back in. I handed the other coffee to my friend, but I told him it was steaming hot, so he should be careful. I looked at Mano County News while we were drinking our coffee. The Mano County News station was run by the guy named Electro back then. After we got our coffee, we made our way to the nearest gas station, but it was over an hour away, so we quickly sped there. We arrived, and we pulled into the gas pump. I opened the door and grabbed my credit card and paid for the gas. I then pumped the gas, but it took a few minutes as our tank was almost out. I then got back in and drove off to the nearest gun store to get my new deer gun. I arrived at the sporting goods store pretty quick, as it was just near us. I pulled into the parking lot and parked. I got out of the car as my friend was already in the store looking for guns. I walked towards the store in a quickly manner, as it was cold. I walked in and went to the gun salesman and asked what kind of gun would be good for deer hunting. He said a Glock would do, but that's BS. I remember joining my friend in the other aisle as he was looking for some bullets for his gun. I pointed out to a specific bullet, as he was looking for that one, but was having trouble finding it. He thanks me, and we put a box of the bullets in our shopping basket. He were about to check out, but we saw a masked man with all black with his gun out. Me and my friend froze with fear. We couldn't move because we were so scared and fearful. We saw him approach the gun salesman, and he got shot dead within 5 seconds. Me and my friend saw him killing other citizens, so we took our chance and sprinted out of there as fast as we could. We heard screams and gunshots behind us as we ran. We called the police, but about the time they arrived, everyone in the store was dead but the shooter. I heard gunshots and I saw the police officer. The officer called for medical as the shooter was shot but not dead. The rescue squad responded and arrived at the scene.
We heard a call over the radio about a mass shooting, and I was in the state of shock since Mano County is just a small town, and this has never happened before. I rushed over to the scene to see that I was one of the first officers on scene. Me, Annie, my partner, rushed in with our guns out, and we made entry, and it was straight out of a horror movie. At least 12 bodies were laying all over the store with blood all over the floors. We see the shooter, and he tells us to get back, or he will end himself. We told him to freeze, but he did the opposite and pulled out his submachine gun and started blasting us. We ran to cover, then we shot the shooter in the arm. He finally surrendered as he was almost dead. That scene was one of the worst incidents Mano County has ever seen. It was all over the Mano news and the national news as well. Mano was never the same after that day, at least not in my eyes.
I remember that day just like it was yesterday. It haunts me every day and reminds me of the incident. I got the call over the radio to come quick to the scene. I was curious on what happened as the person over the radio had a shaky voice. I arrived on scene to see there were at least 10 cop cars. I asked what happened and they didn't say anything. They just told me to follow them. And I saw a young man on the ground wearing all black, and he was bleeding out and he had a submachined gun right next to him. I looked inside the store and saw stuff that I still remember to this day. I went to the young man and started to treat him. I figured out what happened and felt a sense of anger run down my spine. I didn't want to treat the man, but I remembered my oath and I started to treat him. He said something to me that I will never forget. He said he would do it again if he had another chance. Chills ran down my spine as I have never heard such evilness. I cleared my head and began treating him again. but he took the gun beside him and ended himself. I don't see Mano County as the same anymore after that. It changed the world and my mind after that day for all I care. I was checked by a medical provider at the scene. Then I was cleared to go home. I started driving back to my apartment as I was thinking about what just happened. So many questions just went through my head, but I got home and parked and went inside. I sit down and decide to not let this go unnoticed for all the innocent lives lost to that evil man. I sent my story to news channels all over the world, and it became known that the world is changing in bad ways, with new advances in the future, present, and past. Thanks for watching.